Are you ready to learn? Because my super experienced guests are ready to share some really valuable information. Make sure and listen all the way to the end to get help and support. So let's start with the best audio experience.
Hello guys, welcome to our show. Today we discuss about survey, how you can set up your survey to learn more about customers and get insights, valuable data for your content marketing campaigns. And I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Michele Linn. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I think, each day is awesome if you set up this positive mindset. So you need to enjoy the process. Before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, and why you decided to share with us about surveys.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been in the marketing space, starting in product marketing in the 90s. I moved into content marketing. I was a freelance writer, loved what I was doing. And I actually moved into content marketing because I saw how useful it was for myself to help me, find clients. And then I started working for Joe Polizzi. He runs an organization, he ran an organization called Content Marketing Institute. And their focus was and still is how to advance the practice of content marketing. So for many years, I supported content marketers. I ran their editorial. It's all I was doing content marketing for content marketers. So a very meta experience. But once I left CMI, I knew I still wanted to help marketers in some way, but I was trying to figure out how can I help them in a way that they're not currently being served, and how can they really have the most impact. And from my experience of projects that worked and projects that I enjoyed working on, I landed upon helping marketers with survey-based research. So how can they conduct these surveys, reach out to their audience, reach out to others to really find these relentlessly helpful data-backed insights that they can then share in reports, they can then use as part of their thought leadership efforts. So this is specifically how to take those insights and publish those out to help you meet your marketing goals.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I read a book from Joe Polizzi. Awesome book. I love his content. He's pretty active to share value. So yeah, nice to learn from such experts. And today I'm excited to learn more about you. Okay, Michele, can you tell what kind of benefits people can get by setting their surveys, to learn customers by doing them? Because, I see when companies use just online studies to get the average data or using online tools, but all of them provide average data, not about your customers. Even two businesses that can sell, I don't know, let's imagine iPhone. Yeah, if they sell iPhone, they can have their unique selling proposition to sell iPhones. Can you tell about surveys, how it's important and what kind of benefits we can get by setting our surveys?
Absolutely. So just to clarify, so you can certainly do surveys of your own customers if indeed those peers of those customers want to learn how all their peers are doing something. That can be super helpful. Or you can actually survey a different audience to understand how they're doing something to help your customers too. So when you do survey-based research, you got to think about two different audiences. Is one, who's the audience for your findings, and then who do you want to survey? And sometimes they're the same and sometimes they're different. Sometimes they can be your customers, sometimes they don't have to be. But again, with your customers in mind, if your customers are the focus of your research, of the focus of your findings, what you can do is you can publish this research. And I've seen clients like Predictive Index, Erin Balsa, she used to work there. They did a state of remote report. Then I think she said there was over, I might be misquoting this, it's in her course, but over like $600 and some thousand of opportunities. Or you can also, I've also done surveys for startups, like net new companies, and they've used this to get brand awareness. They've used these to build their email subscribers. You can also use surveys as a way to have one big piece of content and create a ton of different content from it. So there's a lot of different benefits of doing this type of work.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk about a new product. For example, if a startup that, I don't know, let's imagine have a high quality product awesome product, but they have no customers, audience. They just started from scratch. How to survey if they have no audience? They don't know. Share more insights how to find people who can lead this startup in the right direction.
So this is a very meta example. This was an example about what I did when I was starting Mantis. So what we were doing is, we want to help marketers conduct original research. So we did a study of how marketers are using original research in their marketing efforts. So that was the study that we did. We had 0 customers. I mean, maybe had like 1 or 2 at the time. We had, no audience. So what we did was we partnered with BuzzSumo, who had a big audience, and they were really curious about survey-based research too. And we surveyed their audience to get that type of information. So find a topic that you want to learn about that's also meaningful to your audience and that's something new, and then figure out how to get those responses. Either, like you said, if you don't have your own list, figure out how you can partner with someone. Events make great partners. If you can find a conference who is speaking to the audience that you want to survey, you can co-promote and co-launch those findings. SaaS companies like BuzzSumo work great, but find people who have your audience that you can survey. Or you can pay for responses, but that's my least favorite way to go.
Okay, can you tell how to find these partners? For example, if I'm going to find a partner, how to do it?
So typically what I would do is I would look for a partner who has a large enough audience who also wants to answer the same questions that you want your research to answer. So if you basically say, I'm going to do all of the heavy lifting, I can get all of the, I can help you, I'll write the survey, I'll do all of the, programming and testing, I'll get the responses, I'll clean the data, create the reports. But again, just find someone who's interested in learning about the same things. So for instance, like when I used to work for CMI back in the day, they started doing content marketing research. They didn't have a large enough audience, so they partnered with marketing profs. And every year they partner on this exact same research. It's a heavier lift for CMI than marketing profs, but it's always co-branded research. Does that help?
For example, by the way, we got the comment about experimenting with posts on LinkedIn and YouTube, and that's good. Because of this comment, I can tell why. For example, I found that I have different audience on my YouTube channel, on LinkedIn, and my website. So they're quite different. On YouTube, people want to learn more about content marketing, digital marketing. On my LinkedIn, I have connections with entrepreneurs, business owners. By the way, you asked me about my audience before the podcast, and I got quite different audience on my website. People want to order my services, to cooperate with me. So all of them are different. And I found, for example, if I set up the poll on LinkedIn, I can get the wrong data, not the wrong data, but not accurate data if I'm going to create marketing campaigns for my website. Can you tell? And you mentioned that you can partner with someone, let's imagine BuzzSumo, very well-known tool, but if I use their audience to ask about them, how it concerns my products, because all products have their unique selling proposition. Tell more about that. For example, if I have my customers, but I'm going to use different data from other websites that have this data, but how to relate with my unique selling proposition.
So I would actually back up and I would say, why are you doing this research? Are you doing this research to learn how people are using your products? Are you doing this research to, figure out if there's a product market fit? Like, I guess first I would ask. So there's two different types of research you can do. One is market research. So if you're trying to answer questions for your own marketing purposes, and you want to understand, if there's pricing and product market fit and all of those different things, that's marketing research. That's market research. The other way to do research, which is how I do it, there's many ways, but the way that I do research is for content marketing and thought leadership. So it's actually specifically not about your products and your services. Yeah. You want to make it about industry trends or answering those questions that your community and your audience wants to answer. So depending on what you're doing, that's going to impact who you want to survey, and that's going to impact how you find that partner.
Yeah,
So
got it.
if it's product based, you might only want to survey your customers, or you might want to reach out to people, but you want to make sure that you're aligning the questions for the audience. Like, you want to make sure if there's questions about business owners, you put them on the channel where you're connecting with business owners.
Yeah, got it. Right now I got it. Okay, I have the question. I found on your LinkedIn profile that you can get backlinks mentions by having your research. Can you tell more about that? How to earn today authoritative and relevant backlinks or mentions to create brand awareness, to provide these link building campaigns by setting research?
Absolutely. So I don't know if you guys know Andy Crestodina, or I don't know if you know Andy Crestodina.
Yeah, of course I know him.
I feel like everyone knows Andy. So one of the things that he does every single year is a blogging study. And have you seen his blogging study? And he publishes all the results in one big blog post every single year. And I haven't talked with him about this for a year or so, but this piece of content, if you look on BuzzSumo, is his best performing piece of content every single year. He gets links to this data constantly because he's answering those questions that people have about blogging. So again, if you tap into those questions, you answer them. Andy's smart because he created an SEO optimized blog post. Then he invites collaborators to comment on the findings, and then those collaborators share the links. He's a promotion master, so they do a lot of different things to promote the research. But that one study is a huge backlink magnet for him. That's just one example of how to do that.
And can you tell how to find these ideas? For example, if I'm going to create my research, I know it takes time to gather data and provide something unique. Can you tell how to find these ideas about research that can deserve a lot of backlinks?
Yeah. So especially if your goal is backlinks, what I always do is I tell people to figure out a research topic. You have to find your research niche, just like you do with any type of content. So like, let's say you're in the content marketing space. If you type in state of content marketing or content marketing stats or anything like that, you're going to find so many different links. Like a general content marketing report, that's been covered. So what I always tell people to do is to figure out, what is a topic that's meaningful to your audience? What is your topic that aligns with your brand? And what is something that says something new? So for instance, I was working with that brand, they're called Typeset. They're an agency out of UK and Australia. And they were a net new content marketing agency. They didn't want to study, we knew that they didn't want to study content marketing because that had been covered. So I asked them, tell me more about your brand, or tell me about those things that drive you crazy. And they're like, you know what, we hate that, marketers are spending so much time on content, but they don't even know if it's working. They don't know what's actually effective. How can we dig into that? So we did a state of writing where we looked at writing effectiveness. What's the type of content people are using? What are the processes they have in place? And are they finding success? And what does that look like? And then what are those people who are having success doing differently? So they kind of found their research niche based on something that was really meaningful to them. And again, something that was really meaningful to their audience and something that hadn't been studied. So you have to find that net new thing if you want to get backlinks.
Yeah, I love it. You mentioned a few times differently, use something unique. And by the way, I found the same quote on your LinkedIn profile that let me find it. I wanted to focus on unique content and meaningful. Can you tell more about that? Because it's a big issue with many webmasters, my customers. They usually rewrite existing content or hire copywriters who can find some examples. For example, when they create the task, they usually share examples, and that's a great way to rewrite them. To create the same content. They can cheat and game many tools that show like 100% uniqueness, but it's the same stuff. I don't know, like I often ask my friends about a new movie, and the most common reply, nothing special. It's the same plot that with many other movies. Can you tell about unique content? How, for example, if some companies have no time to create content, they want to cooperate with content creators. That's normal because they need to compete to create awesome products, high quality products. But how to cooperate with content creators that provide something meaningful, unique, and new?
Yes, I mean it's a great question because I mean I've been in this space for a long time. You've been in this space for a long time, and at the beginning it was so much easier to find something net new to actually say. And like I said, I was working for CMI. I was doing content marketing, writing about content marketing. I feel like I was reading the same stuff again and again and again. So it is really difficult to find something new. So I don't know if you read Joe's book, Content Inc. And he talks about your content tilt, which is your sweet spot. What are you doing that's actually saying something new? So find what that sweet spot is, find your thing. And if you have to niche down to find that thing, so you're actually saying something new to a new audience. And I think research works really, really well, just because if you do research well and you find, what are those unanswered questions, you're just inherently finding something new to say. You're inherently adding something meaningful to the conversation because, people are wondering, this, and you're giving them answers. So I think that's why research is I work with all these clients who do this, and they get so excited to figure out what people are actually saying. Does it validate what they believe to be true? Does it say something different? But just having something new in your content marketing arsenal just really re-energizes people. And I think it re-energizes, hopefully your audience too.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about CMI. By the way, someone who doesn't know about CMI, it's Content Marketing Institute website, so you can find the link in the description below. And I often read your blog. I often check out some new content. And I found that you have many great marketers who can share all these insights. Can you tell how you can build relationships with these marketers who can create this awesome high quality content for your blog? Because I think today it's important to cooperate with experts, not copywriters, writers who can write about anything. But if you cooperate with experts, you can go ahead. Tell more about building relationships with these offers.
So how do you build relationships with experts?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of times it's interesting because I feel like that's just something for myself. It just happened organically over time. I mean, it's not something I'm a believer of serendipity, and there is process behind it too, but I believe it is like you're putting, good things out into the world, and you're just making genuine connections with people. I would definitely recommend finding people in your space who you admire. I would try to find those people in your space who aren't those like go-to people that everyone knows about and everyone's asking. Who are those up and comers in your space who are still, connecting with people? Like, I know you and I are both big fans of LinkedIn. How can you mine LinkedIn to find those experts? And once you do, engage in their conversations, comment on their post, share what they're doing, and just become a resource to them, so that you're adding value to them. So if you do want to go to them and you do have an ask for them, it's a much more, it's an easier ask. It just feels like you're being a better human. I'm all about being a good human and just being, again, relentlessly helpful to people. But, try to make those genuine connections based on interest and participation.
Michelle, you unhided my secrets. I felt it's better not to unhide them, but you did it. Okay, guys, you know my secrets, that it's better to build relationships by engaging with others. LinkedIn is awesome place. You can use Twitter if you love this social media, but it's better to be, as you mentioned, genuine. And I found the best way to engage with others to comment on their posts. So you can 100%. Follow them. And, for example, I often get the question how I can build such audience. And I reply to them, I spent I don't remember exactly the time, like more than a year, commenting a lot, like 100 comments a day. And probably I passed a few days, but in most cases I did it. That was consistency. And I didn't write, thank you, great post. I just shared extra insights, value. I help others, support them, because people want to get more value. So if you can help them in your commenting, they want to get more value. They can open your profile and follow you. So yeah, I love it. I love it. Michelle, we have the question from Muhammad. So surveys are type of qualitative research. What do you think?
So I would actually say in general, surveys are typically more quantitative. So they're more numeric based. They're more qualitative research is more like if you do a focus group, if you do a series of interviews and you pull out those trends. So I think that both work really, really well. And I actually sometimes, counsel people to use qualitative research and over survey and quantitative research. But they are a bit different. With surveys, you're trying to reach enough people to have good, credible data. With qualitative research, you can dig in deeper to a topic, but talk to fewer people.
Okay, Michelle, I have the question how to promote research. Let's imagine I created awesome research, valuable insights, but how to tell people that I have this research? Because even the best piece of content needs some promotion. Tell more about that.
Absolutely. So what I always say is that when you launch your research, you should choose one spot to point everything to. So that's the first step. So for most companies, this is some type of visual landing page where you share your findings, those key takeaways. You can include collaborator quotes. You can include, interactive graphs and charts and things, but really tell the story of your research on one page so that people want to link to it. From there, have some next step. Is that, linking to the report that's gated? Or is it, providing them with some additional resources like, hey, our research uncovered, these challenges. Here's a guide on how to address those. So start with the landing page where you point everyone and then figure out what that next step is. And then from there, I think then you can start putting together all of your different promotions. And there are so many different ways to do this. I don't know if there is a spot for links. But there's a ton of different ways that you can repurpose your content. You can use webinars, have webinars where you share all your key findings, or have webinar panel conversations, talk about different challenges. You can write lots of different blog posts about your research, talk about, here are the key trends, or, here's a pain point that we discovered, and here is a solution. You can share this on, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. You can share it, via guides and playbooks and all sorts of different things that you can do. So I actually, this fall, the presentation I've been giving at conferences is how to create a year's worth of content from one research report. So if anyone wants, links to the slides, I'm actually next week, Content Marketing Conference. It's a free event. I'm talking about it there. But if anybody wants links to slides, examples, anything, let me know. I can certainly talk about it more, share more, whatever's helpful.
Yeah, nice.
I can talk about that for the entire time. So.
Yeah. Okay, Michelle, I'll share this event with my audience. Guys, you can find the description, the link in the description below. And I have the final question. Let's imagine you started from scratch without any experience, knowledge, skills. What will you do today to learn more about creating research?
So if I were to start from scratch and I was like, this is some research I want to do, I'm assuming the person has a limited budget and is scrappy.
Yeah.
Or it's not like hiring someone to do it.
I found, for example, that I usually get much higher results with webmasters who understand SEO. So if they understand the basic of SEO, they don't need to be experts, but they need to understand why we need to create high quality content, what kind of backlinks we need. So we usually get much higher results. If someone doesn't understand, it's the same like, I don't know, if you want to lose weight. So if you you don't understand why you need to eat healthy food, train hard, many other stuff, it's hard. The best coach can't help you, the best tutor can't help you to learn a foreign language if you don't understand why you need to do it, so and how to do it. So I think it's the same with research. For example, let's imagine you want to hire someone, and but you need to understand the basic and what kind of benefits you can get. Just what you do right now to learn this basic about research.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to start learning, I would start studying what others are doing. I'm a big believer in like learning. So I would start looking for others who have created research. I would start, putting together swipe files and start saying, well, hey, this works really well. This doesn't work well. I'm a very, probably like you, I'm a very big believer of reaching out to people. I still do this. So if there's someone's research who I admire, I'll reach out and say, hey, can we talk about this? Can I learn what you did and what you learned along the way? So it's, again, just study what's out there, talk to others who are doing it to get advice. Certainly, talk to me. I not only that in a pitchy way. And if you want to get help with one part of the process, get help with writing your survey questions, because if those are not good, if those are not solid, if you don't have a lot of jumping off places to tell stories, your project is going to fall flat. So it's going to take, this is a time consuming project. So just make sure that the survey is in great shape.
Okay, love it, Michelle. It's a big pleasure to get you on my show, to learn from you. Tell our audience how they can reach out to you, to learn more about you, follow you.
Sure. My website is mantisresearch.com. And you can also follow me on LinkedIn. It's Michele with one L, Linn, Linn. So yeah, reach out and connect. I love talking about this stuff. I'm such a big nerd. So seriously, reach out, ask questions. Always happy to help.
Okay, guys, you can find all these links in the description below. Please follow Michele. You can see a lot of valuable insights. Open CMI because it's awesome blog, one of the best in my list, because I have a bunch of blogs, but I know about uniqueness, about value on this blog, so it's so valuable. Open personal Michele website, so you can learn a lot of them. And guys, thank you for taking time, and see you next time.